Hi. Oh. Hey, I'm back, and we have another episode of 10-minute tips. So,
One more get.
okay. Hey, I'm back, and we have another episode of 10-minute tips. Grab your coffee or your tea and join me as we talk about communication in conflict. Hi, it's Kim, and I'm back for another week of 10-minute tips for your relationships. 10 minutes. So, this week, I want to talk about communication while in conflict. Yes, we've talked about communication many times before, but this week, I just want to focus in on how or can we communicate while we're in the heat of the battle. And you know what? We can. There are appropriate ways, and there are some things that we can do while we are having our little tiff or tat. We can do that, and we can do it appropriately. So let's talk about it. So, like many times before, we've talked about what is communication. Well, first of all, a huge part of communication is listening, right? Listening to hear and understand, not listening to respond and reply or have your ammunition ready. No, but just listening to get an understanding of what the other person is trying to say. Um, Receiving what they're saying, that's huge in communication. Talking, right? Sharing information, and sometimes just being present in the moment, being present with that person, letting them know that you are there, that you hear them, and that you're really trying to gain understanding and knowledge of what they're talking about. But today I want to talk about communication in a whole different way. Yes, I want to talk about some things that we can and we should do while we are communicating in conflict. I have 10 tips that I want to share with you today about communication in conflict. Number one, stay focused. Yes, stick to the matter at hand. I know sometimes when we're upset and we're going back and forth, we'll just bring in the whole kitchen sink. We'll just start talking about everything that's bothering us instead of just sticking to the topic at hand. You know, just dealing with one thing at a time is really a better, safe way to communicate while in conflict. Number two, listen carefully. Yes, I think I said it before that listening is a huge part of communication. Sometimes we think talking is a bigger part of communication, but it's not. Listening is so important because you don't want to miss important things that your person, your mate, your family member, your child is trying to convey to you. It's important that you listen. It's important that you don't interrupt. Yes. So you want to make sure that you're listening, you're not interrupting, because you don't want to miss that important stuff. Number three is what I call making an unfair trade. Yes. Now that sounds like it might be in your favor, but actually, I don't know, it's in the other person's favor. Making an unfair trade. This means what you want to do is respond to a criticism with empathy. Yes. You want to show some empathy for that person, putting yourself in their place, trying to walk a mile in their moccasins, if you will, um, and not listening with your ears, but listening with your heart. Number 4, walk a mile in my shoes. Yes, that means you want to, try to see it from their perspective. Our perspective is not the only perspective that's important or that's right or correct. Sometimes we need to put on their shoes or, hey, walk in their moccasins, and see how it feels for them. Just try it. Number 5. Number 5. Own your own stuff. I think sometimes this might be the more difficult one. Own your own stuff. If you did it, if you said it, own it. Go ahead. Take responsibility. Be accountable. It builds trust when you do that. Oh my gosh, I can really appreciate a person who owns what they do or what they say. Number 6, put the focus on you. Talking about yourself. Put the focus on you. When you're responding and you're trying to get an understanding and you're communicating with your mate during this time of conflict, don't go with the you make me feel, you did this and you did that. Just, start with the I feelings. I feel, I want. That kind of takes some of the pressure off, and it doesn't make the other person feel so accused. So put the focus on you. Don't focus on the other person and what they're doing and not doing. The focus is on you, what your desires, what you need, what you want. Number 7, look for that middle ground. Right, the middle ground, that place of compromise. Yes, this is so important in relationships and most relationships, that we're not always trying to get our own way. We're not always trying to get, what we want, but we're trying to do what's best for the relationship. So what you want is not always what's best, but what's best for the relationship may be what the other person wants. Or it may not be anything that either one of you want. It may be something completely different. So look for the middle ground. Try to compromise. Number 8, take a time out. Sometimes conflict gets really heated, and sometimes when we're really heated, we may say or do things that we don't want to do. So if we take a time out, go for a walk, take a breather, or table it and decide to come back to it, we probably will have a better outcome. When we take a time out, we want to do that so that we can rethink, reconsider, and then hopefully reconcile. Number 9, ask for help. This is important for a lot of people. Sometimes we just don't know how to ask for help. And as couples, sometimes we're just really embarrassed about what we're going through, that we decide that asking for help is really out of the question. But asking for help is really important. Going to that mentor, that mentor couple, or, your pastor, stepping outside of the box and maybe even getting some professional help. Yes, ask for help. You may want to see a therapist or a counselor. You know what? Sometimes if your mate is not willing to go with you to counseling, go by yourself. Yeah, work on you. So get some help. And number 10, after all else fails, you tried everything, don't give up. Don't give up. Let's try it again. Sometimes we have to try it several times before we get it right. But whatever you do, only if you're not in a situation where your life is threatened. But don't give up. Your relationship is worth the fight. These are my 10-minute tips. You take care and you